Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the assignment, Excel 1. I'm going to launch Chrome. And I'm going to go to Blackboard. I'm logging in. Okay, the assignment is in your class in the assignments folder. The assignment is Excel 1. To do this assignment, you'll do a number of steps. 1, this is the instruction document, so you'll need to click that and save it to your computer. And you'll need to open that to follow the instructions. The other thing you'll need is the starting enable editing. This is the instruction document. Okay. And I'm going to go back to Chrome, and now I'm going to download the starting document. This is the starting Excel file. That one's going to download. It's saved to your computer. Next thing you need to do is leave Blackboard open, go to OneDrive, sign in, and remember it's your student ID at georgebrown.ca. Okay, you'll have to enter your password in this step, but I'm actually already logged in. The next step is I need to upload the file, the starting document that I just downloaded in the previous step. It should be in my downloads folder. And if it is not there, starting document. Okay, it should be in your downloads folder. So I'm going to upload it. And then once it's uploaded, I need to find that file. And it's called Final Assignment Starting Document. Right here, it will be marked with this little arrow to show that it's new. I'm going to click on that to open it in Excel Online. And switch immediately to Sheet 1. Okay, so this is the sheet you will be working on. And that now you'll be following the instructions. So you'll be switching between the Word document to follow the instructions and the Excel in Chrome. So the first section is setting it up. As soon as you have uploaded it to your OneDrive, make sure you change the name to Excel Assignment 1, first name, last name. So your first name and your last name. Just press enter. Make sure you've saved it. Second step, we're going to do the section here on formulas. So instruction is in cell D4, insert a formula to calculate the reseller's discount price using an absolute reference to the discount rate in E2. So step 1 is to go to D4 here, and we're going to be calculating the discounted rate. So here's the discount stored in cell E2, and here's the list price. So we're going to do simple math. All formulas start with equals, and then we're going to take the list price multiplied by the discounted rate. But this portion, E2, needs to be an absolute reference. So we have to add a $ in front of the E and a $ in front of the 2. And what that does is it locks this, so this portion of the formula will not change when we fill down. So it's always going to point at E2 and nowhere else. Pressing enter to complete that, the result should be 1575. I'm going to grab the corner fill handle, this small green square. I'm going to pull down to row 18, and I'm going to fill in my prices. Okay. Now the next one I want to do is in B20, so here's B20. I want to calculate a formula to display the highest list price. So this is the column for the list price, column D, and the function that I need is the highest price. So I'm going to use my sum function, auto sum, and I need to find max. So I want the maximum of the list price. So I'm going to highlight the list prices down to row 18, and you can see that it fills in equals max C4 colon C18, and that gives me the highest price for the list price, so it's 37. Now I want to do the average list price, so I'm going to do the same steps. This is cell B21, and I'm going to use my sum function. This time I want to use average. Now it's guessed wrong here, okay, so I have to go ahead and select again the list prices, and it fills in the correct range of C4 to C18, and I'm going to press enter. And the answer is 31 plus some more numbers. And now I want to find the average reseller price. So again, sum function, average, and this time I want to choose the reseller discounted price starting in D4 and down to D18. So I'm going to highlight those cells, and that puts them into my formula. I'm going to press enter, and that's complete, so the result is 14. The next formula is going to count something if it is a particular value. So I want to count the number of hardcovers in column E. So the function in this case is equals count if, literally count it if. I'm going to open a bracket, and I'm going to select my range, E4 to E18, and then I'm going to put in a comma because the next thing I need to do is give it what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for the word hardcover. So I'm going to open a quote, type in hardcover, make sure I spell it correctly, otherwise I won't find it, close the quote, close the bracket. So equals count if E4 colon E18 comma hardcover in quotes, and the result is 9. I'm going to do the same thing in B24, equals count if, open a bracket, highlight the formats starting in E4 down to E18. Again, I'm going to put in a comma, and then I'm going to tell it what I'm looking for, in this case paperback. Okay, paperback, closing the quote, closing the bracket. So it's only going to count it if it says paperback. There you go, paperback. So there should be 9 and 6. And I'm going to pause this recording and go on to the formatting section for this sheet. So we're actually going to do the instructions on sheet 2. We're going to be doing the formulas on sheet 2. So we're going to switch to sheet 2. Okay, and we're beginning with the formulas. In cell G2, insert a formula referencing E2. So this is G2, and I need to reference E2 on the other sheet, sheet 1. That's very simple. The step is press the equal sign for the reference, switch to the sheet 1, and click on E2 where the tax rate is stored, and then simply press enter. And what that does is pulls the number from sheet 1 into sheet 2. If I click on the cell, you can see the formula equals single quote sheet 1, single quote exclamation E2. All that means is make the cell equal to, from this sheet, exclamation is a separator, E2 is the cell that I want. Okay, and it brings the number right across. We're going to do the same thing for author now. We're going to go in cell A4, insert a formula referencing A4 on sheet 1. So steps are equals, switch to sheet 1, go to A4, press enter. That brings the author across. Next we're going to do the title in B4. We're going to equals, sheet 1, B4, press enter. Format. Okay. This time we have to reference a different column, so don't get trapped. We're referencing now a format for row 4 on sheet 1. So we're going to go equals, sheet 1, E4. I want the format in this column. Pressing enter. That brings that across. And the list price in D4, we want to equals, sheet 1, and we're going to click on the list price there and press enter. Okay. So we've brought across one author, one title, one format, and one list price from the same row on sheet 1, row 4. Now we're going to do another formula, and we're going to calculate the discount price in this sheet as well. So we're going to go to cell E4. We're going to make it equal to the list price multiplied by the tax rate, and this we have to make an absolute reference, $G, $2. Okay, so it's going to be absolutely referencing the tax rate, and D4 references the list price. So it's going to would be 35 times 0.45, and the result is 1575. Now I want to copy that information down, so I'm going to go from A4 to E4 all the way across. I'm going to highlight these cells, and I'm just going to fill those formulas down. So I'm going to get the corner, the fill handle, pull down to row 18, and you'll see that it pulls all of the information from sheet 1 into sheet 2, so they stay in sync. Now in line total, I want to calculate the extended price. So that's simply the list reseller price times the quantity. So the reseller price times the quantity. So equals reseller price times the quantity. So E4 times F4, pressing enter. And now I want to fill down the row to row 18. And now I want to sum that up. I want to see how much money that actually is. I'm going to use my sum function, sum, and it's going to guess what to add up, and in this case it's guessed correctly. We're summing G4 through G18, so I can press enter. And the result should be 857 and change. Now we need to find the most expensive item, the highest reseller price. So most expensive item, that's the reseller price, which is in column E. So we're going to use our sum function, looking for max, and then we have to highlight the numbers in column E. Column E, making sure I go all the way down to the bottom. I have to make sure that I've got the entire cell. Don't want to lose any of the numbers, so let's start that again. So start at, let me correct that. Most expensive item. Let's just erase what's there. Make sure I highlight everything from E4 down to E18. E4 to E18 and pressing enter. So I'm just going to show you the formula there by double clicking. So it equals max, open bracket, E4 colon E18, close the bracket. Now I want to count the number of hardcovers I want to add up the number of hardcovers in the order, which means I need to get the quantity for each hardcover. So this is a slightly more complicated formula. First things, I need to make sure I'm using the right formula. In this case, it's sum if. So equals sum if. Sum if means add it up if something matches. So and that first thing I want to do is I want to range the format. So I've got to highlight the formats. So I wanted to tell it to look at the format column. Okay. I want it to look for hardcover in the format column. And then if it finds hardcover, I want it to add the number from quantity. Okay. Let me just double click to open that up again. So what this is doing is equals sum if, added up if. In this column you find the word hardcover. Add in the associated number from column F, the quantity. So it's 23. The same thing, sum if, and I want to open the bracket. I'm looking in the format range, highlighting the format range. Then I'm doing comma. I'm looking for, this time, paperback. Close the quote, comma, and now I want to add up the quantity if it finds paperback. So I'm going to highlight and drag that down, press enter. And once again, the formula for that is equals sum if C4 colon C18, looking for paperback, add up the number from row from F18 through F4 through F18, enter. And that is all the formulas for this particular assignment. So I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to do another recording for the formatting in part 2.